What's up guys, DC1983 your Gaming Tech, and this is a video comparison. This is a versus. I know I don't usually do versus, but my verses are completely different because there is no winner. There is no winner. Take that and, I don't know, take that and shove it if you don't have a winner. The choice is yours. But your choice, if you have a choice, that obviously means that you're a fanboy, you have a, I wouldn't say a preferred system, you limit yourself on games because of a brand. Now, everyone knows I'm a big Nintendo fan, but I'm also a guru gamer. I'm what do you call it? I'm basically an open gamer, you know, I'm not stuck to one console, you know what I'm saying? I'm a diverse gamer. Well, this is going to be the 3DS versus the PS Vita. Now, the 3DS versus the PS Vita, what are the two biggest things? The two biggest things is one has a better hardware and the other one has lower hardware. One has 3D and one doesn't. One has OLED touchscreen, one doesn't. Now, let's go into it a little bit deeper. Now, the 3DS itself, the 3DS launch is doing good, it's selling good, had a price cut and all other stuff, and now it's selling really great. And one of the main reasons, well actually a few of the main reasons is Mario, Super Mario Land 3D, Mario Kart 7, and what do you call it, Monster Hunter, and soon to be Resident Evil Revelations, and those are like, and what do you call it? Yeah, those are the games that kind of like push the game off the shelves. It's factual. The price cut makes a big difference. Now, the system has 3D. The 3D is amazing. The 3D is awesome. The 3D is great. The 3D gives certain games better visuals. Like, it doesn't just add depth. It's like when you turn on the 3D, you have better graphics. Like, it makes the game a lot more graphical. It just looks awesome. Take a game for like Resident Evil Revelations, for instance. When you look at Resident Evil Revelations and you check it out, and with just the 2D version, the standard 3D version, without 3D, the game looks awesome. But when you turn on the 3D, you can see the scales and like the chain and like the patterns on her uniform. You can also see like certain things further away. They just seem a lot more crisper with the 3D on. Now granted, a lot of people is not going to be able to deal with that because the 3D still affects their eyes or they get tired while playing the game. But it does add better visuals to the actual game itself, to the point where some games on the 3DS basically look like the Vita, and may even surpass some games like the Vita. Like Resident Evil looks better than Shinobi 2. And Resident Evil looks better than what do you call it, Lord of Apocalypse. They're just games that just look better, and that all goes down with developers and how the game's made. And the 3D adds a ton more than what you get with just the 3D off. Now, games that launch for the system, when the system launched, the system didn't launch with great games. It launched with games that only a person that actually liked those games were a system seller to that person at the time. Like people that really love Pilot Wings and still play Pilot Wings Resort right now, or people that played Steel Diver and just like had to play Steel Diver, and then went out and bought the system. And then there's those die-hard Nintendo fans that just buy everything Nintendo. Those are under Nintendo, and then they're under fanboys. You know, like whatever the company drops, they buy it, whatever, just because they want to have it. The same thing goes with Apple people, but this is a different thing. Now, more so with the 3D, they have the eShop. The eShop is very great. The eShop is amazing. The eShop adds games that you haven't played in a long time, and if you had the 3DS from day one and you're an ambassador, you get 20 free awesome games. You get 20 NES games, and then you get 20 what's it called, Game Boy Advance games, especially games that you haven't played, like what do you call it, Fire Emblem, and then Sacred Stones, and then there's what do you call it, Kirby. Then there's, you know, there's all those games like Metroid Fusion that people didn't get a chance to play, but being that they bought that, the eShop brought them that type of experience to the system if you went out and bought it early. So Nintendo offered a lot of content with the system, and then soon to come, there's going to be Nintendo, what do you call it, Nintendo Network. Nintendo Network is going to be able to sell you fully retailed games on the 3DS and the Wii U, but this isn't about that. So for all those people that don't want to carry cartridges anymore, you can download them. But then you have those people that just don't want to buy anything downloaded. They want to actually own them, so they have like a satchel with them when they're carrying games with them. And then also Nintendo Network is going to kill the localization thing. I mentioned that before in in Pro Life Gamers. If you're not a part of Pro Life Gamers, definitely hop on that. Definitely get on Pro Life Gamers because it is awesome. It's also in the link in the description. I know you guys liking the new banner up there, so definitely click on that. It will take you to my my Twitter and also take you to my Pro Life Gamers page for Facebook. And you could also request me on Pro Life Gamers there as well. Now, going on, like what was I saying? The 3DS, like, when the games launched, like, the games were great, and with the eShop now killing the localization, all those games that we want and cost Nintendo so much money to make is now gonna get on there later down the line, but that's just more things to promise. Then came a messaging system what Nintendo promised us that came a little later, which is SwapNote. SwapNote is great, but it also causes a lot of problems for people that don't feel like right now everything, that just want to actually use a virtual keyboard. People are expecting and hoping that, will Nintendo add something like that? I don't know personally, but hopefully they do change that in an update. And the eShop just adds all your DSi wares, all your, what's it called? Your special games that now with 3D games that they're adding, or classic 3D games that they're adding. So you get like a multi-pack version of like great stuff. Then you have like short videos on the 3DS, and that's just great. The camera doesn't work at night because there's no flash. Obviously, there's no autofocus or like auto lighting like on like a phone or a Samsung phone that gives you night mode or anything like that. The camera is pretty grainy. If you take it in broad daylight, it's still kind of grainy. But it does record in 3D, and it does give you actual 3D pictures, which is great. Now the Vita doesn't have that, but let's stick to the 3DS. So not only that, the 3DS also has now add-on peripherals, like you got to buy a new battery because the battery life isn't great. If you're playing games like Resident Evil, you're playing it with the 3D on, it's going to kill the battery within like 2.5 hours unless you have like a Nikon or a Mugen battery, which is $129 for basically 5,800 milliamps, which will give you up to 9 hours of battery life. Then they have the Nikon battery pack that gives you up to 2 times more battery life. Now you have the Nikon Power Grip that uses your original battery, and doesn't require you to take the back plate off, and you could just snap this thing on the back, and that gives you an extra 3 times more battery life, which is a 3,600 milliamp battery alone on its own. So that's pretty crazy. Actually, no, I think it's a 2,800 milliamp along with what you get in the 3DS. I think it totaled up to like 36 or something like that. So I'll put in the description if I'm wrong, or I'll type it in the message if someone wants to know that. But the 3DS offers a lot of great content. It offers a lot of great games that's coming in the long run. AAA titles, you know, that's helping the system get off the shelves. And the more systems that go off the shelves, the more the developers want to make games for the system because they'll have a better chance of it selling there. Now, let's go on to the Vita. Now, the Vita itself is selling at $250, and then there's a 3G version that sells for $300. Now the problem with the 3G version is you still have to sign up with AT&T, and now with AT&T, you still pay monthly. It's not some sort of thing you just pick a card and you just pay for it as you go. You actually have to keep paying monthly, and if you go over your 250, if you choose, or your 2 gigabytes, for every megabyte, for 1 megabyte you go over, they charge you $10 extra to your $25 for another gig. And if you go over that, so you end up having like a $40 to up to $50 bill if you're downloading or playing online games on your 3G version of the Vita, and it's just crazy. Like, to me, I just don't think that thing is going to sell. But there's to each his own. Some people want to be able to get on the network where they go, download their games as they go. They can always turn off the 3G when they want and use the actual Wi-Fi in the area because it's Wi-Fi and 3G. So that's great. Me personally, I have 2 paid off. I also have 2 32 gigs paid off, and I also have what do you call it? I just ordered Ragnarok Odyssey from what's it called? Asia Play. Oh damn, I forgot the site. Play Asia, and what do you call it? And I just got I just paid off the 2 the headsets and the 2 pouches from me and my wife, and what do you call it? What else was it? To Shinobi-Do. what do you call it, the screen protectors and some other stuff. But going on, now the Vita itself, being that it uses SDK, which is Android type operating system, the system runs extremely smooth. It runs great, awesomely smooth. Oh, really quick about the 3DS, which I'm going to go to with the Vita, why I remember this. Now, with the 3DS, you can, while you're in the middle of the game, you can go ahead and click the menu button and go to your browser, and from the browser, you can go to, you can go to the browser and start looking at your stuff while your game's in pause, which is great. Now, the 3DS does not allow HTML5. It doesn't allow Flash yet. Hopefully that changes in the future. But now, going on with the Vita, once you press the menu button, you hit the browser is amazing. It shows the browser is quick and fast and all that stuff. Actually, it's kind of slow, but not as slow as the 3DS. It doesn't support HTML5, it doesn't support Flash either, and there's still no built-in YouTube application, which none of them have at the moment, either the 3D or the Vita. And the Vita is very powerful, so it should definitely have that. And so does the 3DS. With that DPM, Pica 200 DPM graphics unit, it should definitely be able to handle YouTube. It's just all up to Nintendo and how they want to do it. Because you can still watch explicit content on YouTube, and you know how Nintendo's family oriented, which they need to get out of that. But going on, now the Vita itself, now, what is it? Yeah, once you click the browser, you have to exit the game. It does not go into pause. You have to exit the game to go to the browser itself. Now, will that change, or all that is just software updates, and Sony does software updates on the Vita like crazy, apparently. Well, not crazy, not a lot. They're just doing it to get all the kinks and the bugs out. And then on top of that, you have the PSN shop. With your PSN shop, you link it with your actual PSN account for your PS3. So games that you bought for PSP and all that stuff, you can play them on the Vita itself. Games that you bought for your PlayStation 1, you can play on the Vita. Actually, no, I don't think so. I have to look that up. I don't want to give any false information. I have to look that up. I'll leave that in the description or something like that. But it also has the camera. The camera, it records in just standard VGA, and it takes pictures in standard VGA. So the camera quality actually looks the same like the actual 3DS, but the 3DS gives better lighting in daylight pictures than the Vita does. Going on, the Vita has 2 analog sticks, and for all those people that's been playing using analog sticks for the last 5 years and more, almost up to 10 years now, that's just something you're just customly made to used to. The one thing though, with the analog sticks, you can't push too far up. They kind of like have like a certain a nudge. It doesn't go too far back, so I don't know how that's gonna feel for sneaking. Then goes on, the system uses a cartridge base, and the same cartridge, you can download every single game you buy on the Vita. You can buy a physical copy, you can download it, and you don't have to buy a physical copy. Now, for some people like me, I still like physical copies, and I also like to download as well. So, and the Vita is region free, so for all those problems waiting on localization, you don't have to do that. Just sign on to your PSN account in Japan and buy the game there, and they have Japanese translation and all that other stuff, so you can basically download any game regardless, even if you want to wait for an English localization version to actually get English language and English menus and all that stuff. That's a different thing, you just have to wait. But you don't have to, it's region free, so piracy is going to be not needed for the Vita itself. The only reason most people are going to do anything on the Vita is homebrew it, so they can play emulators and PS3 games on it and all that other stuff. Now, Sony's planning to do that already with remote play. But going on, the Vita, the Wi-Fi version has great battery life. According to a reliable source, Skygan22, he has a 3G Vita, and with his brightness at 80% and his 3G on all day long, he gets about 5.5 hours to almost 6 hours of gameplay. That's with his 3G on all the time. So I can only imagine what that will be like with the Wi-Fi version, being that 3G burns more than Wi-Fi does. Now, they do burn a lot, so you will obviously get more battery life. You can't change your battery, you can't switch it out or anything like that. It's built onto the system. There's nothing you can do about it. We don't even know what size milliamp battery is in there. And, the games that are out for the Vita right now that is not selling in Japan is because Japan is a Japanese company. Right now, the Vita is actually selling a lot better because Ragnarok City came out today, and the Japanese audience love games like that. If you looked at Ragnarok Odyssey looks and plays exactly like Monster Hunter, but more of like a cartoonish type of wave, more of like a toony type of wave or anime type of wave. And it's not cartoonish graphics, but it's more of like an anime humor within it. And the game just looks great, just beautiful visuals. There's monsters, there's hunting, there's armor. It just seems like a complete ripoff of Monster Hunter and plays kind of like it, but a little different. So the game is just awesome and just everything. Your character, your armor and all that stuff. Armor in the game doesn't mean anything. It's actually what you add to yourself, like cards and all that other stuff. There's videos and demonstrations of actually that. When I get the game myself, I will do a demonstration of it when I'm opening the box and all that stuff. Going on, the Vita accessories are great, just like the 3DS. It just looks great and awesome. Now, along with the games that are coming out for the Vita, is some of them will be on your PS3. So that's another reason why do you want a HD console if you're gonna have if you're gonna have it on your home console? That is your choice, the user's preference. You cannot judge someone by user's preference. That's just acidine. One thing I will say, the Vita does offer a lot, completely amazing difference than anything else. There's applications, Twitter applications, there's going to be a YouTube applications, Netflix is going to work on there just like the 3DS. And there's just going to be more and more application, being that this thing is implemented like the 3G, like Android. You'll be able to download stuff from Gameloft and stuff like that directly from your from your Vita itself. So you won't just have Sony games. You'll have like Angry Birds and stuff like that on your Vita, and the touchscreen is amazing. The back touch sensitive. You have the R, the L and R, and a lot of people that want to know the L2 and the R2 button. There is no R3 button, but you can customize any game to add either functionality on the touchscreen or on the back. So you can have your back buttons, your back touch on the side for each hand. You can have, it can be an L2, you can have an R2, or whichever way you see it's on the camera, you know what I'm saying. And then you can have on the front, you can have it to touch to do something quick, like a quick menu or something like that. So, which one is better? There is no better. It's a preference of the user. Which one is a system seller? There is no system seller. It's what the person wants, will buy it for. Now, granted, there's a greater audience for a certain game that will have the game run out to buy it, but you, the user, has your own system seller. My system seller are games that's not even allowed in Japan, in the US yet. So you see what I'm saying? Like, those are my system seller. What's it? Lord of Apocalypse and what do you call it? And Ragnarok Odyssey, Tales of Innocence R, and what else? What do you call it? Warrior's Lair, which was ruined, and stuff like that. That's another thing too. It seems like Sony is giving more RPGs than the 3DS. Right now, as we know on the 3DS, there's going to be, what do you call it? So far, Bravery Default, it doesn't even look like it's going to be localized here. What do you call it? Fire Emblem doesn't look like it's coming here anytime soon. So we're just actually waiting and waiting for games to be localized on the 3DS. And as now, that's all we're mainly getting on the 3DS is AAA titles. And for some people, they get tired of that and they want those games, but because it's not region free, people on the Vita are happy because their system is region free and they don't have to wait for localization. They can download the games. Some people want physical copies, but you don't have to get that. So which system is better for you? That is your choice. Which system is better? There's no better. It's your preference, your choice. I personally love them both. When it comes to handheld, I don't have a preference. When it comes to companies, I do have a preference. My preference is Nintendo. But my main gaming source is PC. So you see what I'm saying? Everyone has a different preference. The difference between the Vita is obviously the Vita has better hardware. It's more graphical power. It has basically like HD-like graphics. It's just more and more. It even has Skype for you to do Skype calls. It has cross game chat and all this other stuff. And rumor implemented, you'll be able to do video chat with the system sooner or later down the line through Skype. So that's crazy. So all the features that this thing is offering, it's just a powerhouse system versus a directed handheld system. That's what the 3DS is and that's what the Vita is. They're both directed for handheld, for just straight gaming, but they have their own differences, you know what I'm saying? So it's up to your choice and your preference. The 3DS is great and the Vita is great. Now, I will say this, and don't get mad, guys. Just because it sells more does not make it better. You got to remember the 3DS has a price cut. Before that, it was stumbling just like the Vita was. And I'm going to say this, don't take any offense, but just because it sold more because it's cheaper, it sold more because it was cheaper and because of AAA titles. Just because it sold more doesn't make it better. Alright, I'm going to say it like this. Just because more 99-cent cheeseburgers sold at McDonald's doesn't mean that the 99-cent cheeseburger is better than the Big Mac. It is not better than the chicken club sandwich. It's not better, you know what I'm saying? Just because it sold more doesn't make it better. It's just a personal preference and choice and the budget on gamers. So don't go out there and make console wars or anything like that. But this video was super long. I hope you guys enjoy. Stay tuned for my next video where I'll be doing an unboxing of the Power Grip Nikon battery. Again, this is DC1983, your gaming tech head. Definitely write your comments in below. Tell me what you like about the Vita. Tell me what you like about the 3DS. And don't tell me anything negative or just whatever. It's all to you. Write in the comments below. Definitely subscribe. Definitely check out PLG. And remember, I'm your gaming tech head, DC1983. And I love to have you guys here. Thank you very much. Without you, I wouldn't be here. Peace.